Paolo Banchero, Magic agree to 5-year rookie max extension. Orlando Magic star Paolo Banchero has signed a massive 5-year, $239 million rookie contract extension, potentially reaching $287 million. The deal includes incentives that could boost his salary to the Supermax level if he achieves all NBA honors, MVP, or Defensive Player of the Year. This marks the first rookie max extension with a player option since 2021, giving Banchero control over his future in the 2030-31 season. This lucrative contract solidifies the Magic's young core, which also includes Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs, all under contract for the next 5 years. The team's aggressive offseason moves, including the acquisition of Desmond Bane, position Orlando as a strong contender in the Eastern Conference. Banchero's impressive performance last season, despite an injury, saw him average 25.9 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 4.8 assists. This elite level of play, especially his post-All-Star break surge and playoff dominance, further cemented his value to the franchise and the league. He's already among the Magic's all-time leading scorers in his short career. Banchero's remarkable achievement builds on his 2022-23 Rookie of the Year award and 2024 All-Star selection, showcasing a bright future for both the player and the Orlando Magic.
In our next story, Heat land Powell in 3-team trade with Clippers Jazz. The Miami Heat have bolstered their backcourt, acquiring Norman Powell from the Los Angeles Clippers in a complex 3-team trade also involving the Utah Jazz. In the deal, the Clippers receive forward John Collins, while the Jazz gain Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a future draft pick. Powell, a 10-year veteran, averaged a career-high 21.8 points per game last season with the Clippers and brings significant scoring punch to Miami. His arrival comes at a cost, however, as the Heat parted with Love, a 5-time All-Star who saw limited playing time last season. For the Clippers, acquiring Collins represents a significant addition to their front court. Collins, despite injury issues last season, is a proven scorer and rebounder. The move signifies a shift in roster strategy for Los Angeles. The trade also sees the Jazz adding experienced role players in Love and Anderson. This acquisition adds depth and veteran leadership to their roster while also acquiring a future asset.
In our next story, what would a cheap, Apple A18-powered MacBook actually be good at? Persistent rumors suggest Apple is finally developing a low-cost MacBook. This has been speculated for years, even dating back to the netbook era, despite Apple's historically high laptop price points. The latest buzz comes from analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, who predicts a new model powered by the iPhone's A18 Pro chip, boasting a 13-inch screen in multiple colors. Further fueling this speculation, Mac Rumors discovered a Mac 17.1 model in older macOS updates, potentially hinting at this budget MacBook in advanced development stages. While previous similar rumors lacked concrete evidence, Apple's increased control over its own chips makes this possibility more realistic. The question remains, what market would this low-cost MacBook target? Would it significantly undercut the MacBook Air, and is there enough demand to justify a departure from Apple's current $999 minimum price for laptops? The potential arrival of this long-rumored machine is certainly a topic worth watching. This development, if true, marks a significant shift in Apple's laptop strategy, potentially opening up its product line to a broader range of consumers.
In our next story, U.S. troops on the ground in L.A. immigration enforcement operation. DoD says, a heavily armed operation involving 90 National Guard troops and military vehicles took place at MacArthur Park in Los Angeles. The operation, which displaced a summer day camp, involved federal border agents and appeared to many to be a show of force rather than a legitimate law enforcement action. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass described the event as a political agenda of provoking fear and terror. Noting the lack of arrests and the intimidating display, California Governor Gavin Newsom echoed these sentiments, calling the operation theater and criticizing the administration's actions. The Department of Defense stated that the troops were present to ensure the safety of federal agents, establishing a security perimeter. However, federal authorities have yet to explain the purpose of the raid or provide details on any arrests. Mayor Bass voiced concerns that the operation's goal was to spread fear and intimidation among the city's immigrant population, discouraging them from daily life. The lack of transparency from federal authorities regarding the operation's objectives has further fueled criticism and speculation. The operation utilized significant military resources, including Humvees, cargo trucks, and ambulances, further emphasizing the scale of the deployment. While troops were authorized to defend themselves and federal employees, the overall lack of apparent results has raised serious questions about the operation's justification and effectiveness.
In our next story, Jannik Sinner advances to Wimbledon QFs after Grigor Dimitrov retires. Jannik Sinner advanced to the Wimbledon quarterfinals after his opponent, Grigor Dimitrov, retired due to injury. Dimitrov, leading 2-0, was forced to withdraw during the third set after injuring his right pectoral muscle. This marks Dimitrov's fifth consecutive Grand Slam retirement due to injury, a heartbreaking trend for the talented Bulgarian player. Sinner expressed sympathy for Dimitrov, highlighting his opponent's skill and dedication, emphasizing that the victory felt bittersweet given the circumstances. He praised Dimitrov's hard work and acknowledged the emotional toll of the injury. Sinner will now face Ben Shelton in the quarterfinals. Shelton secured his place in the last 8 after a hard-fought victory over Lorenzo Sonego. This will be Sinner's fourth consecutive Wimbledon quarterfinal appearance, and he aims for his first Wimbledon title. Dimitrov's injury woes began last year at Wimbledon and have continued through several subsequent Grand Slams, including the US Open, Australian Open, and Roland Garros. Despite his setbacks, Dimitrov had shown impressive form at Wimbledon this year, before his latest injury intervened.